Hey guys, it's Mr. Sands again. We're going to start day 2 of solving for quadratics. You can see today that we have x squareds. So we're going to jump right into this. Alright, get some things organized. With solving for quadratics, you need to be able to factor. So what I'm going to think here is my leading coefficient's 1, so I'm going to jump right into these two sets of parentheses. I'm going to have x and x. Now my signs are minus plus. So first scenario we're looking at is minus plus. That means in my answer, I'm going to have minus minus. And I want to keep these off to the left here as we work our way through. Okay, so our first sign is here. I guess I can make my chart a little bit better than this. Let me do that from scratch. I'll put it up in the top corner. Okay, so the first scenario, I'm going to keep it up here in this nice little box as we go across. All right, so first sign was minus, second sign was plus. In our answer, we have minus minus. So it'll be minus minus. That's my first scenario we're looking at. I'm going to take this number, rewrite it. There's my 5. I'm going to list all the numbers that multiply to be 5. There's only 2, okay? 1 times 5 is it. Since these signs are the same, I will add these to get 6. So yeah, I get 6 here. So 1 and 5 can go in at either sign because they're the same. And now we're going to go ahead and solve this. X minus 1 equals 0, so this one will give me 1. And over here, I'm going to set this one equal to 0, and I will get positive 5. So my two solutions are 1 and 5. Right? With number 2, I'm going to set this equal to 0. Anytime you have an x squared term, you should anticipate to have setting it equal to 0 like such. So I move this negative 6x over to make it plus 6x. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and do the parentheses again. My leading coefficient is 1, so I'm going to do this, put my x's in. So now my signs are plus plus. So that's different than this one up here. So plus plus means when I go to factor, in parentheses, I'm going to have plus plus. So plus plus goes in. I'm going to take the 8 and break down all the numbers that multiply to be 8. So 1 times 8, what's the next number after 1? 2. 2 times 4, what's after 2? 3. 3 does not divide 8. 4 does. 4 is up here, so I know I can stop. Now my signs are the same again in my answer here. So I'm going to add these to get 9 and 6. So 6 matches 6. So that means I'm going to use 2 and 4. It doesn't matter where I put them because the sign's the same. So I can just put them in wherever I want. I can put the 4 here, the 2 here, whichever. And now we break it apart again. So I get x is equal to negative 2. X plus 4 equals 0. So that would be x equals negative 4. So there are two solutions, negative 2 and negative 4. Okay? So I'm going to shift my screen up here. I'm going to erase my first two problems and jump up to working on 3 and 4. So we'll keep that sign chart we have there. Ooh, perfect square. Perfect square separated by a minus sign. Some of you may want to think of this as x squared plus 0x, because see there's no x terms. Minus 64 equals 0. Or if you want to be devil's advocate, you could say, well, what if I do minus 0x? Minus 64 equals. So these are two different scenarios. All right, I'll change the color here again. So let's look at this one, plus, minus. So my first sign's plus, my second sign's minus. When I factor, I want two signs that multiply to be a negative. So plus, minus. And when I add these, positive and negative, I'll get a positive. So I have to make sure my large number goes with the plus sign. You'll see what I mean here in a second. Now, if you choose to do the minus one, this one here, okay, so again, I need two signs that when I multiply them together will give me a negative. So this is minus, minus. So I want two signs that when I multiply them, I get this negative. So a positive times a negative is a negative. Now I have to make sure my larger number goes with this minus sign in order when I subtract them, I get this negative. Again, wait till I jump into it a little more. I'm going to think, because I'm going to be optimistic, I'm going to look at this scenario. So the leading coefficient is 1 on the x squared. So I go ahead and put my x's in. Plus minus, we said. Plus minus, we said was plus minus. And now I'm going to list the numbers that be 64. So 1 times 64, 2 times 32, 3 does not go into it. 4 times 16, 5 does not, 6 does not, 7 does not, 8 times 8. Now, since I already have 8 up here, I can stop. I don't have to keep checking numbers. That's the nice thing about counting up like this. Now, when these signs were the same, we added these factors. These signs are different, so I will take the difference this time. So there's a difference of 30, a difference of 63, a difference of 12, and a difference of 0, because 8 minus 8 is 0. Obviously, 0 is matching up what we said here. So since the numbers are the same, it doesn't matter where I put them. So I get x plus 8 times x minus 8 will be x squared minus 64. And here's your routine of setting each factor equal to 0. This one will give me a negative 8. This one will give me a positive 8. All right? And that's the best way to think of that problem. In number 4, we're back to plus plus. So, we already did one with plus plus. We have x and x, positive, positive, plus plus. That's this scenario here in blue. That's why I chose to stick with blue, so it matches. And now I want to do numbers that multiply to be 10. Starting with 1. 2 times 5. 3 doesn't, 4 doesn't, 5 does go in. We already have it. I'm finished. My signs are the same, so I will add my factors. 1 and 10 make 11. 2 and 5 make 7. You can see I have 7 here, so 2 and 5 are my factors. So I get x plus 2 equals 0. X is negative 2. X plus 5 is equal to 0. X is equal to negative 5. So this is a heavy factoring section. Okay, so again, let me erase what I'm doing here, and I'm going to slide the screen up, so that way I can work on the next two, which would be 5 and 6. All right, and here comes 5 and 6. All right, starting with 5, looks like we have different signs there. So let's pull out a GCF first. All these are divisible by 2. So I'm going to divide all terms in the entire equation by 2. What you do to one side, we have to do to both sides. So this will leave me with x squared minus 11x plus 28 equals 0. All right. So leading coefficient of 1x squared, so I know I can jump right into my parentheses, minus plus is this scenario here, so when I do my parentheses, I need a minus minus. Let's break our numbers down. That multiply to be 28. 2 times 14, 3 no, 4 yes. 4 times 7, 5 no, 6 no, 7 yes. It's already here. Now these signs in my answer are the same. So when they're the same, we add them. You can see 4 and 7 give you this 11 you need. So x minus 4 equals 0. X will be 4. X minus 7 will be 0, so x is 7. There are your two solutions. All right, next cat. My GCF here on the left is negative 3. Always make your leading term positive when you can. Notice 1 through 5 had a positive x squared. This one has a negative x squared, so I'm thinking GCF automatically, at least of a negative 1, to make them all positive at the x squared. So when I divide everything by negative 3, I get a positive 1x squared minus 1x minus 30 equals 0. So again, now I have a 1 in front of x squared, so I can go ahead and put my x's in right away. Minus minus is this red scenario. So in my answer, in my parentheses, I'll have a positive, negative. We're breaking down 30 this time. The last number you always break down when the leading coefficient is 1. 2 times 15, 3 times 10, 4 times 5. 4 does not go into 30. 5 does, so that's 5 times 6. All right, so we have signs that are different. So these signs are different. So we're going to take the difference of these two, which is the difference of 29, difference of 13, difference of 7, and a difference of 1. What is my difference in here? 1. So we want 6 and 5. Now you need to be careful. You can't just put 5 and 6 in right away, because when your signs are different, it's a little more thinking you have to go with. So 6 is bigger than 5. 6 needs to go with this sign. The larger number, when the signs are different, has to go with this sign here. So 6 goes with the minus. And the quick check would be this. Positive 5 times negative 6 is negative 30. Positive 5 plus negative 6 is negative 1. So you can see when you multiply these together, you get that. When you add the last terms together, you get the middle term. Then you know you're good. Once that's established, it's business as usual. And x minus 6 equals 0, so x is positive 6. And you're set and finished. Okay, so let me get this set up again. I'm going to sneeze. Give me a second. Okay, let's go into 7 on the back now. I'm going to have x squared plus 2x minus 35 equals 0. So I added the 2x over, subtract 35 over. I get it equal to 0. X and x, leading coefficient of 1, there's no GCF. Plus minus is the green guy here. Numbers that multiply to be 35. 1 times 35, 5 times 7. That's it. So signs are different. So we'll have a difference of 34 possible and a difference of 2. Looks like 2 is what we got. Remember, the larger number goes with this sign. The first sign, which is plus, so 7 goes with the plus. 5 with the minus. So 7 times negative 5 is negative 35. And then 7 plus negative 5 is 2. All right? So business as usual after that. Set it equal to 0. Get x by themselves. So x is also positive 5. So 7 is complete. Going down here to 4. Looks like we have a GCF of positive 4. So it's going to leave us with x squared minus 100 equals 0. If it helps you to think of this as x squared plus 0x minus 100, you do that. So I got 2 sets of parentheses, x times x. Plus minus is in green here, so I'm going to do plus minus. Numbers that multiply to be 100 that have a difference of 0. So 1 times 100, 2 times 50, 3 does not, 4 times 25, 5 times 20. 6 does not, 7 does not, 8 gets close, not quite, 9 does not, 10 times 10. I'm finished because 10's already here on this side. Signs are different. So these two have a difference of 99, difference of 48, difference of 21, difference of 15, difference of 0. That's the one we want because their difference is 0. So x plus 10 equals 0, and x minus 10 equals 0. So x is positive 10, and x is negative 10. There you go. All right, I'm going to pause again and clean this up, get down to 9 and 10. So the rest of this video, looks like I'm only going to get 9 finished. So let's go ahead and get this bad boy started. Let's subtract 9x squared over. I'm going to subtract 4x over. And I'm going to subtract 31 over. So that this is equal to 0. So I have 1x squared minus 12x plus 22. No GCF, so we're going to go right into our parentheses because it's a leading coefficient of 1x squared. Minus plus is this pink one, so my answer should have minus minus. 22 is 1 times 22, 2 times 11, and that's pretty much it. Should be nothing else that goes into 22. So it looks like we need a difference of 12. That does not exist, so there will be no solution that will be nice here. So what that means here is we have to do quadratic formula, which I'll pick up on the next one, which will be negative b plus or minus the square root of b squared minus 4ac all over 2a. So you'll see that on the second video.